Announced a full year ago now, the iPhone X took the smartphone industry by storm and has had a lasting effect with nearly every major flagship in 2018 copying its iconic notch. That said, it came out almost a year ago already, and Apple has now introduced a new wave of iPhones into its lineup. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone X in late 2018. Is it still worth buying? I love the iPhone X and have used it since I got my hands on it until a couple weeks ago when I switched to the iPhone 8 Plus for fun, just to see if I'd liked the bigger size or not. It's not really important. The iPhone X is an amazing phone and it feels extremely premium even with the new XS and XR coming out. The X, however, is being discontinued by Apple due to them not wanting it to compete with its new iPhones, and so where does that leave it? Well, for the next little while we should see carriers continue to sell them, at least for a little longer until they're out of stock, and then from there we're only going to be able to buy them used. I'm just going to say immediately right away here that you should not buy an iPhone X brand new right now. It's too expensive, and the XS or XR are going to be better bangs for your buck, especially one of them, which I'll get to later. How does the iPhone X perform a year later? Well, it's still very fast, and I think it even feels better on iOS 12, which is pretty awesome. Face ID is still great, although not for everyone, but I personally love it. It feels natural to just look at your phone and have it unlock. If you're not a fan, I definitely recommend going to the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, but I really do think most will like Face ID once they give it a shot. The design is of course gorgeous and matching that of the iPhone XS with a stainless steel frame as well as a glass back. It's a throwback to the iPhone 4, and that's definitely a good thing. It looks great and exactly the same as the smaller XS minus the gold color option. Just be careful with your X as glass shatters if you drop it. You can also expect the stainless steel sides to get scratched to oblivion. That's just unfortunately how stainless steel works, but it's definitely a bit too bad. The OLED panel is one of the best in the business and holds up great a year later with no burn-in or any issues whatsoever. I love the display, and having true blacks is something you really grow to appreciate. It's only made better by the bezel-less design that is only intruded by the top notch, and yeah, the notch. It's insane how much the smartphone landscape has changed since the X came out, with nearly every manufacturer adopting the notch. But regardless, as far as notches go, the X has one of the best, as it is able to do what the notch does without a bottom bezel. I hate Android phones coming out right now with the big bottom bezel. Cough cough, Pixel 3 XL, cough cough, assuming the leaks are correct anyway. The iPhone X looks brilliant and everything you do on it just feels seamless, except for maybe streaming video content. The notch is a bit intrusive, so I'll typically watch a video by making it smaller so you have two big black bars on the sides. It's not great, but oh well, not much that can be done. You can get used to it pretty fast, and I really don't mind anymore. It's just a minor inconvenience. If you want exact specs, the iPhone X has a 5.8-inch display that is Super Retina with a resolution of 1125 by 2436 and pixel density of 458 pixels per inch. While this doesn't necessarily match the raw numbers of the Galaxy line, you'd be hard pressed to see any real differences other than the coloring. In fact, this display is made by Samsung, and you can tell because it looks amazing. The iPhone X has a great camera to this day, and while Apple makes the XS sound a lot better in all their big ads and everything, the fact is there isn't going to be a huge difference. The X has a rear 12 megapixel sensor that has the ability to record video in 4K at 60 frames per second, which is still to this day very impressive, and as you would expect, photos look great, video looks great, and unless you're a professional photographer, the X is going to be more than enough as your main camera. Plus it has the telephoto lens, which means that you can usually get 2x zoom without any drop in quality, as well as beautiful portrait shots. And now I'll quickly show a few photo examples for you all to see for yourself. This is being filmed on the iPhone X in beautiful 4K 30 frames per second, and it is gorgeous out here. The battery of the iPhone X is unfortunately probably its weakest point at a size of only 2,716 milliamp hours. While that actually doesn't sound too bad, in real life use it can be pretty tough to get through the full day. I'd often be at under 20% when I went to bed, and if I was on my phone a lot that day, I would occasionally need to charge up. The worst is when I would get sick and just want to, stay in bed and watch Netflix. It would die very fast if that's all I was doing. Luckily, that doesn't happen very often, so I'm okay, but you get the idea. The iPhone X is livable for sure, but if you're wanting a better battery, you should really consider going for the XS Max, or if you'd rather not sell a kidney, get the XR. The XR especially is going to be a beast for the battery life, considering that it gets an hour and a half more than the 8 Plus, which is already way better than the 10. I've been using the 8 Plus again, and every night I finish around 50%, as opposed to under 20% on the iPhone 10. You can see the difference there. Regardless, the 10 isn't bad. It's just not good when it comes to battery life. And now we come to the performance of the iPhone 10. I mean, I talked a little bit about it before. The iPhone 10, I just gotta push this in here. It's fast. It holds up super well a year later with 3 gigs of RAM and Apple's A11 Bionic chipset. This thing is a beast and isn't much slower than the iPhone XS, at least according to Apple's numbers. It'll last years and years to come and seems to be even more fluid on iOS 12 if that's even possible. Any game, any app, really anything you throw at it will run optimally, and you don't need to worry about anything when it comes to the iPhone 10. It's as solid as they come, and in my opinion has held up much better than any other phone from 2017. And that's kind of important about the iPhone 10. It really has held up better than any other phone from 2017, at least in my opinion, I suppose. The Pixel 2 XL has numerous issues for a lot of people. The Galaxy Note 8 is still great, but suffers from having only the Snapdragon 835 processor. iPhones are so far ahead of the game when it comes to performance, it's not even funny. Just look at the Geekbench score, seriously. Regardless, that won't matter to the average Joe. The iPhone 10 is a great phone a year later, as you would expect considering it was originally costing $1,000, which is the world's first, I believe, to cost $1,000, or at least the world's first mainstream phone. That all being said, you shouldn't buy the iPhone 10 anymore. Apple again has discontinued the iPhone 10 so that they don't have to worry about it competing with their newer iPhones, so within a couple months it's going to be pretty hard to find brand new anywhere, meaning you're going to need to buy it used. At the moment, the iPhone 10 seems to go for anywhere around $700 to $800, but that'll likely go down in the coming months. And I mean, that's not a terrible deal, but keep in mind you're going to be buying it used, and why would you do that when you could just buy the iPhone XR? The XR has a worse screen and doesn't have a telephoto lens. Other than that, it's basically the same as the iPhone 10 except faster, slightly larger, and with more colors. Plus, it's going for $750 brand new on Apple's website. Mind you, the XR, as of recording this video, isn't actually available and won't be until late October, but regardless, I think it's the best valued iPhone you can buy right now, except for maybe the iPhone 8, and so that's what I would recommend over the 10. Best valued iPhone you can buy new right now. I don't know if I said that, but it's important to make that differentiation. You definitely don't need to upgrade if you have an iPhone 10 right now. It's going to feel more premium than the XR, even if it is a bit slower, as it still has a much better display and stainless steel, and again looks exactly like the XS. Also, if you have an iPhone 10, don't upgrade to the XS if you've been thinking about it. I don't think there's enough improvements to warrant that. Maybe just wait until next year's iPhone 11. The iPhone 10 is one of the best phones out there even 1 year later, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. But don't buy it, get the XR, and if you have the 10, you're set. No need to upgrade at all, at least until next year. But that's all just my opinion. Do you own an iPhone 10? Are you going to buy one of the new iPhones this year? Let me know in the comments down below. I think I'm pretty much done here for this. I love the iPhone 10. It's a great phone, but I don't think it's worth it anymore, which is kind of sad, but with the new options that Apple have just introduced, I think it makes sense. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you out at all, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to keep up to date with everything tech related, links down below. That all being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.